Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? It's your boy. And just like that, my wife spoiled the intro, but let's go into the video. So this is a 2008, if I'm not mistaken, Toyota Ractis, which belongs to my wife, and it has been smoking for a while. It has been consuming oil, and you can just tell by the tailpipe how it was really burning oil, which was coming out from the exhaust. And if you can see just right here, it is fitted with a 2SZ engine, which basically is the same engine that comes in Toyota Yaris, Axio, and so on. And as you can tell, we serviced the car, but it only drives 2,000 kilometers, and you can probably see by the dipstick how low the oil was. So our main goal here is to rebuild that engine on budget. We're gonna tear it apart. My initial assumption is that the piston rings are worn since we did the compression test and so on. So what we are going to do is to disassemble the whole engine and see how it looks. We also tested out the PCV valve and we saw that's fine. So my assumptions are the piston rings are short on this car. So let's go ahead and do that. So we started to disassemble the car, as you guys are seeing over there. So since we are doing this on budget, I didn't have either a engine jack to actually remove the whole engine as a unit. So what I did actually was to disassemble the whole engine, remove the valve cover, remove the chain, and also remove the head, and then drop the engine and remove it from underneath the car. So this is actually pretty easy since this engine is quite small. It's easy, and since the engine is not that heavy, to manage and remove it from the car, under the car. So what we actually did was to check up the car, make sure that the height is good enough, and just like that we were able to remove the engine. But I'll let you just see up on the next clips. So at that point I already had removed the head and all the accessories, starter, and all the components attached to it. And then I used two ropes, one which was attached on the frame of the car, as you can see, which is the one on the top, and then another one just to tie the, the engine block to the first rope that we have on the top. And just by releasing the rope on one of the sides of the rail, I was just able to lower slowly the engine until it hits the ground. So once the engine hit it on the ground, I was able to pull it out from underneath the car, as you guys are seeing over there. Pretty easy, and of course poor man method, but at least it worked. Ain't dumb. So yeah guys, just like that we have the sub-assembly out of the car. We just needed to jack it up a little bit more. So now it's time to start tearing apart this bad boy. And you guys could have been asking why you just didn't remove the sump and remove the pistons while the engine is on the car. If you see those two 10mm bolts that you have right there, you need to remove them in order to remove the sump, and there is no way that you can remove them while the engine is still attached to the gearbox. We just remove them, and now we should be able to remove our sump. And voila, we have our sub-assembly exposed. Oof, yeah, this thing was pretty dirty, but don't worry, we will take care of that because everything needs to be mounted while it's clean. So what we need to do next, since we have our sub-assembly exposed, we will remove the oil pickup and also the bearing caps. The bearing caps are being held by a 10mm bolt, but you use a 16 point or 12 point socket in order to remove it. As you guys are seeing over there, we have the pistons, all of them cleaned up, as you probably are seeing over there. We have all the goodies to start to disassemble. Also we have the head right here. We still need to replace though the valve seals. As you guys see, we just took one for reference. We need to remove them, lap the valves. Also we need to reassemble the sub-assemble. As you guys are seeing right there, everything is just clean. So now it's time to do the work again. Doki doki. Now that we have the engine disassembled, it's time to explain to you guys what actually caused the issue. So if you guys look into those 4 holes that you're seeing on the piston, they actually are drain holes on the piston, so they work together with the oil control rings. So what they do is to return oil into the cylinder sump. So once those get clogged, what you ended up having is oil consumption. So when you reassemble, make sure that you clean those holes very well in order to remove all the carbon deposits that have been collected over time. At that point, I was just assembling the piston rings. Make sure that you follow up the manual specification for those. And basically you have 3 types of rings on this one. You have the oil control rings, which are the lower ones. You have the 2 upper ones, which are for the compression. So the manual specifies the positions that you actually need to put or set each piston ring, which was actually what we followed. At that point, I was getting everything ready to insert the piston into the cylinder block, and as you can see, I was using those cylinder compressor tools in order to insert our cylinders. Unfortunately, I just lost some footage, so I only had footage when I installed the first cylinder, as my phone went out of charge. But it was actually a very straightforward process. As you might be seeing there, we had the piston installed, and after that what actually we need to do was to torque down all the bearing caps. As you can see, I installed the first one. We torqued them into spec, which actually for this specific engine was 34 Newton meters plus a 90-degree turn. Day 300 and something. So we now finished up mounting the sub-assembly. As you guys can see, we already torqued up all the bolts. We installed the piston rings. Now it's time to start putting everything back together. And we are done with the sub-assembly, as you folks are seeing there. And of course, we are ready to hook this bad boy back into the car using our poor man's engine hoist.
1, 2, 3, Novo Talento, let's go!
So we managed to insert the engine using our poor man's method. And as you guys can see over there, I'll just show them. The engine is now sitting on its position. Of course, it's a little bit twisted, but we still have to mount the head and everything, and it should be ready to go soon. So now it's time to do the head job. As you guys can see right there, this is our head. We cleaned it up. So what we are going to do is, of course, to replace the valve seals and also lap the pistons. Let's see if I can get this focusing. I believe that you can see right there that indeed we need to lap them. You'll see that there is some carbon buildup. So to remove the valve seals, as you guys can see, just right here, I have this amazing tool where I actually compress the spring in this part. As you can see, they are all out. There is this magnet, and then I pick up this plier. I just insert over there and just push it until it comes out. We made some progress, and guys, this is just to show you how the lap process is going. This is the side that we haven't lapped yet. As you can see, that's why it was leaking so bad on this head. And this is the valve that we already grinded up. And we'll keep doing the process until everything is shiny, shiny, shiny. So finish it up lapping the first set of the valves. As you guys can probably tell me, let me just push it a little bit. You can see how clean the seats are, which is good for the car. So now I'm doing the valve seals. As you guys can see, I just inserted the new ones, which are those. And I need to do the same procedure for the remaining. So we have the new head gasket installed. It's time to insert the head and do the torquing procedure. So we now have all the bolts torqued. As you can see, the marks. So basically what you do on those engines, you have to first tighten to 34 Newton meters, and then you just put your mark on the way front to looking forward to the engine, and then you turn 90 degrees and then another 90 degrees. So basically the sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just put the sequence for you guys. At this point I was just installing back the cams, the valve lifters, and ensure that I have everything ready to install the timing chain. So it's important to ensure that at the moment that you're installing the cams, you have all the lobes very well lubricated. Of course, if you can, just use assembly lube, but in our case we were using oil, which is fine also. We finished it up doing the timing. As you can see, the mark on the bottom, just showing there. It goes up front, and now we're just installing the sprocket for the crank sensor. And as you can see, the F position, it's being shown as you guys are seeing over there. After 4 hours, we finally have the engine almost complete, but we already topped up the fluids. We added some brand new oil and antifreeze. I'm just gonna crank it without the spark plugs connected, just to build up some pressure, and then I'm gonna start it up. Here we go. One more time. One more time. Okay, now let me just connect and see if it will start. Connected the sparking plugs. Let's see. Okay. Go baby, go baby. Okay. One more time. She's alive. She's alive, man. So at that point, I discovered that one of the cables, actually vacuum cables that connects to the throttle body, was disconnected. That's why the car was misbehaving like that. And also, I had the exhaust disconnected. That's why it was making that loud noise. But here you have the video after everything was connected.
And just like that, folks, the engine is running. What a relief. So next day, we just lowered the car. Still need to do some cleaning, but the car is already on wheels. Let me just go ahead and start her up. Cold start. Oh yeah, she's alive. Just the belt that's a little bit squishy. At some point we'll replace it. But so far the engine is running just perfect. That smoke is coming out. It's a little bit of oil that I dropped it when I was filling up. But yeah, so far so good. Now I'm just cleaning up the exhaust to make sure that all oil that was left inside comes out. Oh my god, this car is driving so nice now. Oh man. Look at the amount of the oil that is coming out from the exhaust. I'm just using an engine cleaner. So yeah folks, I think that's it. With a little bit more cleaning, as you guys can see, the engine looks good right there. And I think that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this series, this video. And if you did, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you around. Cheers.